Hello friends and welcome to Share Them Smiles. I'm Alyssa and I'm sorry I didn't post a video last week. I was a little busy with what I will be explaining in my next video, but hopefully you like this week's. This week I'm going to be making the second video in the My Concert Experience series. The first one was the Melanie Martinez concert, and this second one is going to be about my experience at the Tegan and Sara concert. This concert was on November 5th at Stage AE in Pittsburgh again, and it was a little different than the Melanie one in some ways that actually made it more enjoyable for me. That had nothing to do with the performers at all, but I'll be getting into that a little bit later. So, when I went to the concert to see Melanie, on the outside, they had like advertisements for what was coming to Stage AE, and I saw that Tegan and Sara was coming, and I was like, I really want to see them. And I actually said that to one of the people I was with, and she said, yeah, if I'm available, I'll go too. Unfortunately, she wasn't, but I have this other friend, Kelly, who I knew was a fan of Tegan and Sara, so I ended up asking her, hey, were you planning on going to this concert? She was like, actually, I was. And I was like, would it be okay if I joined your group? And she said yes. So I bought my tickets ahead of time, and I was really excited leading up to the concert, and I was texting and I was asking what the plan was and where we were going to meet and what we were going to do leading up to it. And she was like, well, we really haven't thought all that through yet. We're not really worried about it, which was a very different planning experience than for the other concert I went to, because we were like, we're going to meet here at this time and we're going to get here early and all of that. And they were like, oh, well, we'll just wait. And so I was making my plans and I was a little like, okay. I thought like you had to be more like on top of things, like we're going to be the first in line, and get there super early so that we're not last in line at least. But these people didn't seem to mind. They were much more laid back and chill about the whole concert experience, and I was like, all right, I'll just go with the flow. I'm still new to this whole concert going thing, so I'm really up for anything. So it ended up being the weekend of, and I was texting, I was saying, so what's the plan? And Kelly texted me back and she said, we will meet at my house around 4:30, if that's okay, since I work until 4. And I was sitting there and I was like, okay, because to see Melanie, we were there by 1 and we were still like halfway down the block. So I was like, are we, I guess, just trying to sit in the back, like we don't care about all of that, which was fine with me, because if you watched my last video, you remember that I had a panic attack. So I wasn't too worried about getting right up to the front. I was okay with hanging out in the back, but I was like, aren't we cutting it kind of close? But I didn't really push it, didn't really worry about things too much. So we met up at 4:30 at her house. We listened to their most recent album while we were getting ready. I was putting makeup on, she was getting ready, getting after work. And we took a ride, I believe it was a lift, over to Stage AE. When we got there, even though it was significantly later than I had arrived at the Melanie Martinez concert, we still ended up at about the same place in line, which was not bad at all, considering that the concert was much closer to starting. I hadn't taken into consideration that this one wasn't sold out, but even then I still thought it would be harder to get a good place if you weren't there super early, but I was wrong, so that's okay. Already on a good start. So then we get in line and we're hanging out, and we actually met a couple other people there, but we didn't see them yet. They were texting each other in line, and then when we got inside, we met up with them, and we were standing pretty close to the stage. It was actually, I would say, about the same as Melanie. We were maybe a little bit further back, but not too bad. It was a nice amount, and like I said, it wasn't sold out, so it wasn't nearly as crowded. There were still a good amount of people there, but it wasn't as crowded. And there's a bar there that I didn't even realize was there before, because I was so focused on getting in and getting to see, you know, Melanie and moving to the front. Whereas at this concert, they're like, oh yeah, there's a bar, like we can go get a drink, you know, no one drove here. I was driving home later that night, so I didn't drink. I only had one drink, but the fact that I was even able to have one and stand in where this crowd was and not get it like smashed all over myself was a surprise to me and a huge improvement. But yeah, so I met a lot of really nice people there, and the feeling was just very positive among audience goers and just everyone in general. There really wasn't a lot of pushing and shoving or like rude comments made or anything. It was just getting to know the people around you or not and just having a good time with your friends. So the opening act was Torres, and I explained a little bit about my feelings for opening acts, but I love them. And so I decided not to go into this one blindly, so I looked up her most recent release, like album-wise. So I didn't know all her music, but I knew some of it going in, and I remembered thinking that she had like this really cool vibe, and her voice is deeper, but like I liked it, had like a really rich tone. It was beautiful. So I was kind of looking forward to seeing her, but I also remembered how the opening act was kind of treated in the last concert, so I wasn't sure how well I was going to be able to enjoy it. Well, the lights went off, they came on, or she came on with her band, and they started singing, and the people in the like pit area I felt were very respectful and were at least trying to listen or being respectful of the people who were trying to listen. And she got up there and she was great. She sounded amazing. Her personality shined through. It was really cute, and I would highly recommend looking up Torres. I will do the same thing I did with the artists in the last video and put some of my favorite songs down below in the description in case you want to look them up later and are looking for some suggestions. But she did a great job, and the people seemed a lot more respectful in the front. However, there was still definitely this buzz in the back of people who were just talking and clearly didn't care that there was this opening act on stage, and it kind of took away from it. I could still hear her, but not as well as I would have liked to. So I still say please be respectful of your opening acts. Please listen to them because you don't know who they are yet, and they might be the next big thing. Give them a chance. You know, there's a reason they are opening up for the person you came to see. Figure out what that is by giving them a chance, listening to them, and seeing what they have to offer, because you might really like them. I know I really liked Torres. I thought she was wonderful. I loved her. Definitely suggest it. So then she was done, and then we were waiting for the main act, which was Tegan and Sara, to come on. And that was when I realized how late the concert was going to be, because I didn't realize that the time it started. I think I saw when it was the doors opened and thought that that's when everything was starting. So it was a little bit later, but it wasn't an issue really. It was just that I was driving later that night. I didn't want it to go too late, but that was fine. And we were sitting around, we're talking, and this girl that I had never met before, who was part of our group, like she and I got to talking, and we were talking like we were old friends for a little while. I mean, we were getting to know each other, but we were also talking that way, and it was really sweet. And there were just a lot of people that I felt like were like that. There wasn't a lot of animosity. There was only like a few people who I think really tried to move forward, and someone said, hey, you know, that's not cool, move back, and then they did so respectfully. There wasn't all the pushing and shoving. But as you remember, at the Melanie concert, there was a huge push forward. I had a panic attack. I was in the same venue, so I expected the same thing to happen, and leading up to it, I was just really nervous, and, you know, warning them, you know, hey, like, if I start, like, having a panic attack over here, like, it's fine, like, don't worry about me, but just know that there's a possibility that that's going to happen. And they were like, I don't think that's going to happen here. I think there were two of us who had not been to their concert where they were the headliners before, at least, and they were like, that doesn't usually happen here, but I still, because that had been my experience in the past, was very nervous about it. So when the lights went off and the concert started and there was no push at all, I was shocked. I was completely just like, I had no idea what to do, because I thought it was going to be this horrible thing, and it wasn't. And then Tegan and Sara came out and they did their concert, and it was incredible. It was awesome. They sounded amazing. They were hilarious to listen to as they spoke. They made some excellent points with their own personal beliefs that they weren't afraid to really share. But I felt like as an audience member, you really got to get to know them and felt like you knew them a little bit more, and you felt like they were really gracious for the audience that they had and were very thankful for everything that they were able to do, and knew that their fans were part of what made that possible for them, and so they were very grateful for them. They have multiple albums, so much music to pick from, and their music has kind of grown throughout the years. I wouldn't say it's like completely changed, but it is different in different albums. It's not all going to be exactly the same, but they were able to put together this concert that really kind of pulled from everything, and nothing felt out of place. Everything felt very genuine, very real, and very them. And that was one thing that I really appreciated from them, was that the music was wonderful. They did a great job with it, but also all of the speaking in between was very real and felt very real from them, and made me even more of a fan of them than I was going into the concert, which I don't know if that's always the case, but that was definitely the case with them. And so I've been kind of on this huge Tegan and Sara kick ever since, and I was already kind of on one leading up to it. So I'm very into Tegan and Sara right now. But the concert was great, and they played for a long time, and like I said, they played from literally like everything, and you were able to just kind of dance like in your spot and have a fun time with your friends right around you. And there was one section they did that was acoustic, which was just the two of them and a guitar, which was throwing back to when they were still just starting and were performing in that way, and it was a throwback to that. But then they also did their songs from their most recent album, and just were all of the different things, and it was just a great time from beginning to end. Audience wise, one of the things that I noticed with this one that I also really appreciated, besides the fact that everybody seemed to be respecting the people around them, was also that you could record like your favorite song. If you put your phone up in the air and recorded like the song that you wanted to hear over the rest of them, or bits and pieces from a few different songs, that was happening throughout the concert. But the concert as a whole, there wasn't like a bunch of people holding up their phones and recording everything, which was kind of how the Melanie one got at some points. This one was, people were really enjoying the moment and enjoying being a part of the experience all around. It wasn't about filming it and then watching it later on your phone. You filmed your favorite song or a few parts of it so that you could keep that memory, but at the same time, it wasn't, oh, I'm here to record this. It was, I'm here to watch them. And so that's what I'm going to do. And it was kind of another refreshing change from what I've known in the past. So it was nice to be able to just enjoy the concert and really have a fun time. And I knew a lot of the songs going in, but I learned some new songs, and it was a great time. I thought they are phenomenally talented. They are really interesting people, and it made the whole experience fun. It made the whole experience worth it, and I would definitely suggest going to see Tegan and Sara. They have a lot more music to choose from, but I'll try to do the same thing where I put my favorites down in the description below from them if you haven't checked them out and are interested. And yeah, so that's my experience at the Tegan and Sara concert. It was wonderful. It was fun from beginning to end. Good time. And if you ever get a chance, definitely check them out. Also, definitely check out Torres, who was the opening act and was very good in her own right and is super talented, and I look forward to seeing the stuff that she has to put out in the future as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in seeing more of what I have, please feel free to subscribe, feel free to like this video, and feel free to comment below your own concert experiences, whether it be with Tegan and Sara or another concert, and I look forward to seeing those. And thank you so much for watching. Before I leave, I am going to try to post another video by Friday. If that does not happen, then it'll probably be next week. That one's going to be talking about the challenge I set forth by myself. It's been a month, so what have I been up to? So feel free to check that out. I have another huge project that I'm working on for the end of the year. It's kind of time consuming on my end, but I'm loving it, and I hope that when I put that out, you guys will be able to enjoy that as well. Until then, thank you so much. I love you all, and don't forget to share them smiles. Alright, ciao for now.